Judaism demands that we go beyond an attitude of gratitude. In our tradition, yes, we would like to fill our hearts, focus our minds, sense in our souls gratitude and thankfulness, be it from the divine shefa, the divine effluence that helps us see beyond the immediate moment, even when it's a wonderful occasion, to be able to harness that sense that we've been blessed and that we have what to be thankful for. Judaism seeks a way to grant us the expression of our gratitude and not just to generate an attitude of gratitude. While it's a wonderful place to start, and for sure, generosity flows when one seeks an attitude of gratitude to walk through the world with. Our tradition offers us several keys to activating our gratitude and generating even more, and requires that we express it on a daily level. Printed Sidurim since the Middle Ages have included a line that gives expression to our gratitude. The very fact that we wake in the morning, the very fact that we put our feet on the floor, the very fact that we feel revived in our spirits leads us to pronounce and say or sing, Modeh ani lefanecha, melech chai v'kayam, shehechazarta bi nishmati b'chemla rabba emunatecha. And many times the verbs for either a male or a female, a man or a woman, are included. Say Modeh ani, or say Modah ani, granting the access to the Hebrew line. I am so grateful to you, God. Enduring Master of the universe, you've restored my soul to me, given me the unique sense of who I am, all I have, what I'm experiencing, what I have yet to experience in my life. You are faithful beyond measure, God. Now, while there was an idea about the soul traveling out the nose and reaching supernal heights on a daily basis or in a nightly basis in the Zohar, that famous compendium of mystical texts from the Middle Ages, this line actualizes a certain sense of thankfulness for waking up in the morning. And yes, morning blessings, as they're arranged on page 10 of our Sidur Sim Shalom, that we usually start a public service with, definitely give expression to those wonders of our lives, our abilities to take on physical and mental activities and succeed on our paths. This first line, Modeh ani, said right upon arising, really gave Jewish souls, Jewish people, a way to express gratitude that they would later express in morning prayers when they gathered together in a minyan. The morning blessings being one set of poetic liturgy that allowed us to give expression to thankfulness, but more centrally, we wait for those moments during our private Amidah and the public recitation of the Amidah for the Modim prayer. That's found on page 116 in Sidur Sim Shalom if you have one and you want to check it out. Modim anachnu lach. We even bow a little with our bodies, our heads, and we're back up on God's name, of the reference to God on lach. And we say, we proclaim, because Modeh can be a proclamation, but it has this double entendre of thankfulness, just like we used it for that line in the morning. Modeh ani lefanecha. Thank you, God. I stand before you ready and so much in the recognition and realization that you have granted me my soul, You have given me my spirit. You give us this opportunity to experience life in this world. And we give expression to that by harnessing the poetic expressions of our ancestors that exist in our prayer book. And that's an everyday endeavor. It's an everyday encounter. It's an everyday expression. It's an everyday obligation to give an external verification of that attitude of gratitude that we function with. With all the challenges and with all the trials, tribulations, complexities of modern life, we thank you and praise you in the morning. We thank you and praise you noon and night. Each of the morning and afternoon and evening services contains an Amidah, which contains a Modin prayer. Our lives are in your hand, we say. Our souls are in your charge. Chayenu hamisurrim biyadecha. We know and we recognize that there are forces so far beyond us and so far beyond humans' capacities to preserve life. Kilo tamu chasadecha. We beg God, but through gratitude, to continue that enduring loving kindness. We've placed our hope in you, God. Me'olam kivinu lach. When the public recitation of the Amidah begins, worshipers, once we arrive at hearing Modim said aloud, have the opportunity to add more of a poetic recitation of liturgy in the Modim de Rabbanan. That's usually printed in a smaller font. And what that offers is a collage of rabbinic sayings that were expressions of gratitude by some of the Chachamim, some of the rabbis of the Talmud. And since they didn't want to say one is better than the other, they collected them, they created a small collage of them, and they suggested that worshipers, while they're hearing the public recitation of the, if you will, central liturgy of the Amidah, that you say to yourself these other expressions of gratitude. It's the only time that we speak over or in parallel with the leader of prayers, the Shliach Tzibor, who is making the public recitation of the Amidah happen. There's concurrent thankfulness being expressed. And that says a lot about what Judaism hopes that we will embrace each day, that we will have in our hearts this attitude of gratitude, and we will have upon our lips the prayers and poetry to express our gratitude. You know, in chapter 32 of Genesis, verse 11, Jacob, after running from some of the most challenging times of his life, realizes that God is with him as he sits down for the night and expresses gratitude in yet a different way. He says, Katonti mikol ha-chasadim umikol ha-emet asher asita et avadecha. I'm not worthy. I'm humbled, God, for all your mercies and kindnesses and for all of the truth with which you have shown your servant how to live. You know, sometimes our gratitude rises through gifts and sweet tastes and the loveliest parts of life. And sometimes it's about the truest lessons that we can learn and the deepest truths that are revealed to us. And our gratitude increases. Our gratitude for friends increases, both when we have celebrations together and just have enjoyable times, and also when our friends help us discover deeper truths about ourselves and about our world. Let me commend to you, in more modern terms, a wonderful book about gratitude, written towards the end of his life, Dr. Oliver Sacks had a series of essays that turned into a book called just simply Gratitude. In his final months, Dr. Sacks reflected on his unusual, existential, and spiritual adventure and shared with us his courageous, as they say, dance with death, having been diagnosed with a terminal cancer. Here's what he said at being almost 80 years old. At nearly 80, with a scattering of medical and surgical problems, none disabling, I feel glad to be alive. I'm glad when the weather's perfect. I'm grateful that I've experienced many things, some wonderful, some horrible, and that I've been able to write a dozen books, to receive innumerable letters from friends, colleagues, and readers, and to enjoy what Nathaniel Hawthorne called an intercourse with the world. I am sorry I have wasted and still waste so much time. I am sorry to be as agonizingly shy at 80 as I was at 20. I am sorry that I speak no languages but my mother tongue, and that I have not traveled or experienced other cultures as widely as I should have done. Dr. Sacks went on and encouraged all of us to engage in an intellectual life, in an intercourse with the world, as Hawthorne said, to guide our minds and to guide our eyes and to guide our souls and our spirits so that we could feel intensely alive. I want and hope in the time that remains to deepen my friendships, to say farewell to those I love, to write more, to travel if I have the strength, to achieve new levels of understanding and insight. Dr. Sacks was intensely alive, and he had deep gratitude for the truth that he would discover, and suggested that we let petty arguments go, that we look past politics and the news, that we live life with nuance, that we understand how thankful we must be for all of the kindnesses and all of the sweets and all of the serious moments, even the challenges. He said, I cannot pretend I am without fear, but my predominant feeling is one of gratitude. I have loved and been loved. I have given much and have been given much. I have read and traveled and thought and written. I have had intercourse with the world. This book, Gratitude by Oliver Sacks, should lead us to write our essays about what we are so grateful for. As this Thanksgiving comes and we live amidst a pandemic and all of the body politic and with the daily miracles around us and the incredible gifts of our lives, I pray that we feel the inspiration to write our own essays of gratitude, our poetry, our liturgical insertions for when we stand in prayer, that we engage more of the liturgy, the poetic lines that our ancestors have bequeathed us in our Sidurim. Modeh ani lefanecha, moda ani. Modim anachnu lach. These are gratitude catchers, gratitude expressions. We are grateful. Katonti mikol chasadim, as our father Jacob said. I've been humbled by all that has blessed my life. We are humbled with all of our blessings. And that helps us expand on the attitude of gratitude that it's wonderful to walk through life with. To express our gratitude is the gift of Jewish tradition. May you have a meaningful Shabbat, and I hope that your Thanksgiving was a wonderful experience for you this year.